Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. And what are we going to be working on today? I wonder if the title of the video or the thumbnail has spoiled it, eh? Going to be working on our iron farm. Although not the farm really, we're going to be working on the building around the outside. And I must have talked about this centuries ago because it's been a really long time. When we first started the biome projects, we swiftly done the first one, then the second one. And that second one has been left unfinished, as has the third one over here, for quite some time. The thing with the biome project is that they're actually large areas of land, so it takes crazy amounts of time, and that can kind of sap away your motivation a little bit. But I feel motivated today, but the main reason we're over here is because we had a vote, and the iron farm won the vote with 38%. We'll get to the rest of the percentages in just a moment. If I come over here, there ain't going to be much left. In fact, there's nothing, because I raided it just the other day. Which kind of means the farm is actually running slow since I've moved it around, I think. I'm not sure. No, it's definitely slow. I only got a few stacks of iron, which is not enough. Anyway, we need to head up to the top here, because this is where we're going to be building the iron farm, or Foundry, I think I called it. It's going to be like a power station or something like that. And we've already got like the waste pipe over here that has the river of blood, the morbid river of blood from the golems that have been turned into iron for us to build with. And we're going to be using a ton, an absolute crazy amount of iron in this build, which my friend Tango's got my back for, because this iron farm that I built was just something to use on a small scale. If we look at how much iron we got, you might think, oh, that's a lot of iron. Nope. It's nowhere near as much as we're going to need for this project. We're going to need a crazy amount. So we'll be taking a trip over to Tango's real soon. And I did that, didn't I? I used the wrong pick. Well, whatever, let's get on with it. There's something that I need to do down here, which is secure a very important part of this that cannot have any blocks built above it. So if we come to the center here, and we place down a block, and we start building with glass on the outside here, this ring that I'm about to create around these blocks is very important. We can't place any other building blocks above here, and that's not really going to be a problem because we're going to build around it. There will be a wall on the outside that's going to be 2 blocks thick going up, and then let's say about 8 or 9 blocks up, we're going to skip a gap, and then the rest of the building's going to be on the inside of this glass. Now the reason that we need this here is because the doors that are below, can you see them down there? Oh, technically we probably don't need them in the corner, but it doesn't really matter. They need air blocks or access to the sky. Not air blocks. They need access to the sky from, I think it's 5 blocks in either direction. So in theory I could actually go further out in that direction, but then we have all of our terraformed land in the way. So it makes sense to stick closer to it, right? So 5 blocks away from that door on either side, it needs access to the sky. On this side, there is water everywhere, so that's not possible. And then on this side, we're just putting in this ring of glass as a security measure. Anyway, I think the next thing that we need to do is to go and get some iron. So let's take a trip over to Tango's iron farm. Oh man, I just scared the life out of myself. I looked up here, and I kind of expected all of that to be lower down, and I thought that it had burned or something had happened to it. It's still there. It's just very high up. That's what I've got to remember. And feedback on that was incredible. I'm glad you like it. I did get one comment that had a few upvotes. Just one person saying, Sumi, you are stubborn. Now, I know I'm stubborn. I know I can be stuck in my way sometimes. But they were saying that the other hermits didn't like this idea, so why did you go ahead and do it anyway? I'd like to iterate that what I proposed is that in each of these rifts, there's a statue of the hermit that tunnel goes to. That's the idea that we decided not to go with. This is perfect for this area. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to have a problem with that, right? It's an evil nether portal hub, and a way to signify where the portals go is by having a giant monster in it. I love it. It looks so good. But anyway, this is Tango Tech's part of the nether, and this is probably my favourite portal entrance ever. Looks like something else is going on over here. I don't know where that's going to go, but that's a very grey looking palette at the moment. I imagine that's just the foundation for something that's going to go in between all of those blocks, right? Anyway, coming down here, the shape of this room, the look of the portal, everything is 10 out of 10. Wouldn't you agree? Like, and then the last bit of it is that you walk over here and you got some folks who are actually not really paying much attention to me right now. We got Punchy, Hungy. Over on this side, we've got Sicky and Rotty, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, or something like that. Very, very cool Nether Hub entrance. I love it. It's absolutely superb. And when you come out of Tango Tech's portal, what do you see? That right there. I mean, you come out facing this way, which I love. I love that view. Oh, that looks so cool. I hope Tango chooses to keep that. Let's fly over in this direction. I also want to mention that out of the votes, 38% went to the Iron Golem factory, so we're doing that first. And I'm going to try and do these in order. 19% was for the Death and Memento rooms, and the first two that won the biggest vote are the oldest projects, which I've neglected for months, right? So that's rather telling, I think. Now let's focus for a second and smack ourselves into the correct part of the wall. Then after that, 18% of the vote for the String Farm, a new project, and 15% to play Boat Bros. I will say that it just depends on organisation to play that game, so it could be that we do that sooner than later. But anyway, before you get alarmed, I have actually spoken to Tango. He said it's absolutely fine to come over here and pinch as much iron as I need. Since Tango has been so kind as to let me use his iron farm, I figured I'd stock up his shulker boxes for him. Look at that, absolutely craziness going on over here. Loads of it in there, loads of it in my little box as well. And I want to show you how this thing works. So you stand underneath it, you mine all of the chests up here, and you get showered in iron. And then you press the button over here, which brings all of the drops using water to the middle, like that. And then you can stand here and just click over and over again. It's awesome. That was a worthwhile trip, I reckon, and now we get to have our own resource overflow chest for iron, which is a very nice situation to be in, wouldn't you say? And I don't think we're using any of these other materials in the build as well. It's mainly going to be iron and... oh yeah, we're also going to use bone blocks, so I should probably pick a few of those up while we're over here. But we're going to unload a shulker box in here, and then we're going to take the other shulker box with us. So construction begins, and it starts with a 2-block deep border around the glass that we placed a moment ago before taking our trip over to Tango's. And I've been thinking about where exactly to start building this, because what I don't want to have is us starting at the lowest point and then half of the building being buried over on that corner. So we're probably going to see a little bit of terraforming where we bring things down a little bit over there and we raise it up over on this corner. So if I were to pick maybe an average or something that seems quite reasonable, this right here I think is the height to work with. So we're going to bring our iron blocks across like this, and they're not actually going to go all the way across, but I'm just going to sort of figure out where the border is. In fact, all I've got to do is follow this, right? Because it is also the same distance around the outside. So that's where the base of it is going to be. Then what I've got to do is figure out where the corner is. That's nice and easy, and count by 3 blocks and break this one here and put a slab. So I've already done my design work. I've been figuring out what the base of this building is going to look like, and we're going to use some iron trapdoors and jack-o'-lanterns, and pumpkins are one of the things that I forgot to get when I was preparing. In fact, I didn't really prepare to build this at all. I just sort of grabbed things that were on my mind, like these slabs and the iron blocks. Now, as we go around here, like I said, this is going to sink into the terrain a little bit, so I'm not sure how much of it I'm actually going to build down here and how much of the terrain I'm going to change as well. So yeah, this is going to go up by, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. Then we're going to have our jack-o'-lanterns in the middle, and then that's going to be the top bit. So this is going to be 7 blocks tall. So it's going to be quite a big base, but it is only the base of the building. And then up the top here, what we'll have is a trim of slabs across the top. That'll stop things spawning on it if we were in a regular biome, but of course we're in this biome, so we don't even have to worry about that. But that's going to go around the entire outside here. It's going to be pretty spectacular. That almost threw me off. This bit here is actually 1 block further out, so this is going to start coming across like that. The corner, by the way, is just going to be nothing but iron blocks, and to begin with we are going to see, well actually for the whole build we're going to see a lot of iron blocks, but we will throw in other details as well. And anyway, let's take a step back and just look at it. Nothing much to marvel yet, right? We've got to put in some of the other blocks first. But over on this side, I decided to embrace that it drops down a little bit. And I thought what we'd do is we'd give it a base, and that base would just be made out of stone bricks, stone slabs. So over here you just see a bunch of this holding up the building over on this side. So it's finished around the whole side, and I actually went and raised it up by 1 more block just so we see more of the slabs over here, because I quite like those actually. And it turns out we have loads of pumpkins, which is terrific, so we're not going to run into a problem there. Just want to make sure I've got all the blocks that I need on my hotbar here. I also haven't gone around to this side and have a look, because it's covered up quite a bit of it, and that is actually coming up a fair way, isn't it? I might just change a little bit of the landscape here, and since we haven't built this bit at all, I can totally change all of that, which is exactly what we will do. So anyway, we're going to go on the inside now, and hopefully this won't be too tricky, because I've got to place blocks in a couple of positions. There we go, that's good, and then actually that's kind of it. So if we use bone blocks in this gap here, we can pillar up while we place jack-o'-lanterns on either side. What way are you facing? Probably in the side there, but we won't risk it. If I come all the way over to the edge of this block, it'll then face us. Cool. Alright, so that works out pretty well. We need to power these jack-o'-lanterns as well, so I won't get too far ahead of myself. There it is. They're all going to get power. That's because we're going to put trapdoors on the other side. So we're going to have a little bit of orange coming through, and that was the intention here, to use orange, you know, and it just so happens that it emits light, which means it's going to look really cool at night. So with those blocks powered, the trapdoors are going to be closed and not open, although it depends really on perspective, doesn't it? Like, what way are you facing? And then the bone block fills in that gap in between. So far, not looking so good, but then we attach these, and things start to look a lot better. Now we've got some shape and like depth on the wall, right? And that's looking pretty cool. So let's do it all the way around. Fantastic timing. The moon is rising, and that means that this thing is glowing. It looks really cool. Actually, I think it suits the landscape here really well because it illuminates itself, and with it being, you know, like this power station or whatever, it kind of looks a little bit toxic even though it's clean. Which, hey, maybe that's me just having my imagination run away with this, but I like how it's come along so far. So what we're going to do now is just work on the little lip that's going to be behind this top bit, because remember, we got that gap of glass, so there's going to be a little bit more building here, and then we go to the second section. So here is the lip, and then here is the inner wall, because this is the gap where the glass blocks are down below. You know, I could actually remove those, they're sort of there as a marker, but, you know, that's just going to take time, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build up the corner a little bit. We're going to put slabs on top of it. And then we're going to go every other block with a block and a slab. And we're going to put different things in between. And if you're looking at my hotbar, it's probably going to be no surprise to hear that we're going to put in some anvils and some iron bars. And we are absolutely going through crazy amounts of iron for this build, right? If you think about it, this takes up one block, but it requires 3 blocks of iron and some ingots as well. It's crazy stuff. Anyway, that's going to be like that going all the way around the outside, and then the inside is going to use more of these slabs again, although I'm not 100% settled on this, but we're going to build this up a little bit, and I think what we're going to do is have some slabs on the inside with some gaps like this. Gotta say, I'm enjoying this building process. You know, I'm not much of a builder. I've always said that. But I like this because we're going for simple and clean and a sort of an industrial look, and it really just becomes quite a simple thing for me. And as you can see, we've gone and kind of like built this second lip on the inside, and we've got these like teeth biting into... All of a sudden I've gone from talking about how plain this style is to using all these expressive words to talk about how it looks like teeth. But each of these are like little teeth hooking onto this inside bit. We're going to see a lot more stone come into this build now, and actually we're about to introduce a new material as well. I think it's going to start just here. We're going to put andesite into the palette now, and that's just to variate these slabs where there's a lot of them. So every other block is going to be andesite going up here, and in the corners these are actually going to go up quite a way. Right, but for this bit here we are going to have that, and then iron blocks are going to start again. So these are going to mirror the teeth below. They're going to go up by 3 blocks, and then they're going to peel over on top, and we're going to start to flatten out the central area. But I do want to say we should probably get the camera account on here and have a look at it from a different perspective. Perspective is a very powerful thing. We're always seeing things from a perspective, and those things can look different from different perspectives, right? And different experiences. And hey, am I talking about Minecraft here or something else? I don't know, feels like there's a lesson there, right? But my favourite perspective of this building is from back here. I got a feeling when it's finished it's going to look amazing from far away, you know, because all of that detail is just going to form this giant structure off in the distance, and I think that suits it. I think it suits being away in the distance because it's big and industrial, and then up close here it still looks pretty cool. Anyway, I could waffle on about what we're going to do next up the top here. You can see we're sort of coming to a new level, but I think I need to crack on, build it, and then show you it. It's time, people, for an iron ingot checkup, and I tell you what, we're going to have no more iron ingots, are we? Nope, none at all. And this is interesting because while I've been building, I've been seeing the iron golems spawn, and I was even going to try and capture one and record and just say, hey look, it's working fine, don't worry about it. But I missed my opportunity, and just doing a little bit of a supply run for resources, I noticed these fellas. There's a lot of them here. A heck of a lot of them, and some of them I suspect have probably died to entity cramming. Now they go all the way back there. I'm wondering just how far in total they go back. If we pop off here and make a very conscious effort not to fall in there with them, we can see them from down here, and somewhere over here is where it turns. So I'm going to dig this out a little bit. Well, there they are. There is also a couple of mysterious hoppers here. And it's got redstone in. I don't know what that's from, but we're getting rid of it. And I can't really see too far down the tunnel, can I? Now, if I make this too tall, they're not going to be able to get through. I think we can possibly just about see the end of it. In fact, we could even break that block as well. Oh, it goes all the way down there. Oh my goodness me, that is a lot of iron golems. This would suggest that either a one-tick pulse was somehow created, or there was like a chunk unloading issue. Could be either of those things, really. Look at how full my inventory, just gathering tons of supplies at the moment, so it's full all the way up, and there we go. We should be shuffling them into the next area now. That's good to see. Yeah, loads of them going over. Alright. Well, that is not a lot of iron ingots, is it? And do you know what? I don't think this farm's ever produced as much iron blocks as we've used in this one build. So thank goodness for Tango Tech and his awesome iron farm. Now, you might have noticed at the end of the sped up bit, it kind of stopped shuffling the iron golems through. This thing got stuck in that position with the piston upwards again. So there is a flaw in the redstone. And I'm just going to leave it for now. I'll have to come back over here and check that it doesn't get backed up again, though. Rome wasn't built in a day, that's what they say. That rhymed. But the point I was trying to make was, this ain't going to get finished today. I actually don't know where to go with it after we build this bit here. So, while we're up here, let's grab some iron blocks. We're going to copy the teeth thing that we did down there. And we're going to have it up the top here again. So we're going to have the teeth create like a platform on top of everything that we've built so far. Which is a giant tower in the middle that leads up to this area here. And I'm really not sure where to go from this point. So let me just add a couple of these teeth so we can get an idea of what's next from down below. But we're going to drop down below and make a few modifications here and there. We're going to have now andesite in between. So we've sort of gone from using stone bricks to andesite all over the place. Which certainly looks cool, I think. Right, let's throw down a couple more blocks here and then drop down below. I'm gonna back up and show you everything we've done so far. But this thing right here, that is the big tower that I built in the middle. Yep, there it is. It's not actually terribly big, but it'll continue to get bigger as we go up here. And the moon is setting, the sun is coming up. It's getting a little bit brighter here. We're going to add some details, well, not really details over on this side, but just a little extra something. Going to come across by 3, going to come down by 3 as well, and we're going to throw in some iron bars here and trapdoors just to add more to what we've seen already, like that. Pretty cool. The trapdoors are going to go on the bottom, which is nice because that's the default position, so we don't have to power it, and that's actually how I did the floor up there, which is kind of like a ceiling actually. Well, it's a ceiling and it's a floor, right, depending on what side you're on. I finished that going all the way around, and speaking of finishing things, I finished placing the andesite with the last block in my inventory. I always like it when that happens, but it's also a sign of how much building I've been doing, because I'm really pushing the time. Like, usually I try and spend just one day of recording on one video, one episode, and we're into our second day now, and I kind of want to keep going, but I also think it's probably a good idea to get a break. You can get fatigued from doing the same thing over and over again, right? and I think it's time for all of you to give me some feedback and let me know what you think of what we've done so far. So, coming back over here, it's looking alright. I'm not sure where it's going to go from here. I think it might need to get bigger on top again, you know, and maybe it needs more details. I was also thinking everything is symmetrical so far, so maybe up the top there we start to build some vents and towers and things that aren't symmetrical and play into their own ideas, you know. Anyway, that's kind of what it looks like from down here. Let's get the camera count on. Oh, and FYI, I used a full shulker box of iron. Then I used another 4 stacks that were already in my inventory, and I believe I went and took out about 9 or 10 extra stacks, and I'm left with this much. I actually wanted to keep count. I wanted to keep count of the entire amount of blocks we used for the whole build, but I've gone and lost count, unfortunately, because I forgot about that. But yeah, crazy amount of iron blocks, right? It is looking good from up here. And I really do feel like the top of this building is going to be what sells it. This really does look like some sort of important, I don't know what you call it, like a event for a load of steam to come up or something like that. And then around the outside here, I love the little details of the iron bars. I can't help but feel we should find some places to use iron bars more frequently. But whatever ideas are pop into your head, post them with a comment down below. As always, your help is greatly appreciated. Multiple eyes on a project will give you all sorts of ideas, maybe other blocks that we could include. I can't help but feel that maybe up the top there we need to get some pumpkins and iron trapdoors as well, right? Like, I really like that down the bottom here, but we haven't used it much again. Anyway, I like where this is going. This is going to be a massive building. My favourite perspective is from far away, so let's back off here. Oh, that is going to look so... Yeah, I am absolutely loving that from back here. And that pretty much brings us to the end of this adventure, peeps. I've really enjoyed building this. And if you enjoyed the episode, leave a like. As always, thank you for the support. And I'll see you soon in the next episode of Hermitcraft. So ciao for now. Bye-bye.